Hello and welcome to Admit One, your twice in one day movie and TV podcast. Right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Nedley Thompson, and once again I am joined by Father Richard Hill.
Hello! Hi!
Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you? Even though we just
I'm all right.
have this fake conversation again. How are you?
I'm fine. It's been so long since I've seen you. I've been
Oh.
okay. I've climbed a
Oh.
mountain. I've done some scuba diving.
Oh, did you have the Watch Ultra with you to guide your
Literally, the only
path?
reason that came to my head as an even remote joke was because I was talking to a customer about one today, saying, "Well, I've been climbing up mountains all day."
So have I. Should I get one for Horizon?
You should.
It's my excuse. That's my way in. To buy a watch that costs more than that entire unit.
Well, not combined.
Nearly,
Yeah.
but no, not combined. Went more the VR. This bottle keeps getting in my way.
Cool.
It has been thrown across the room. It's
This
fine.
mic keeps getting in my way, but it would be bad if I threw that across the room.
Yes. Yes, it would. That would be silly. We're here to talk about The Last of Us episode
7.
7.
Did you just become infected?
Briefly. But I was just like, 7? 7? Need to move this. It's in the way. But
Good Lord, man.
don't judge me. This isn't a podcasting zone. This is a messy bedroom. This is books. This is books.
This is my
sit here
front
and read?
room with many bits of Lego and books and games and jigsaws and loads of crap.
Well, yeah, I'm in the middle of reading this one. Look, it's got a bookmark in it.
Is that the next John dies at the end one?
Yes.
Yeah. I do love that.
If this book exists, you're in the wrong universe. It's great. And it's not normally in the way. It's just I'm in the middle of reading it. It normally goes there.
Up there.
That's where the gap is.
There's a little gap.
There's a little gap.
But anyway, Last of Us.
Yes.
What were your thoughts of this episode?
It was number 7. No. I thought it was good. So obviously for us, we knew this story beforehand and were prepared for a bit of an emotional turmoil. I mean, it's still going on that. So for anybody who is just joining us on this episode, we had one of these cans of Coca-Cola. And just go and watch the other episode for our reactions. It's right at the end. You could always skip if you want.
No, you can't. Stop. I'm going to watch the whole thing.
But it's really weird. It's got a really nondescript flavor to start with, but then sort of the after hit flavor hits, and it's kind of a bit caramel
Satan's
popcorny.
Gooch is what that tastes like.
Anyway, my thoughts on the episode. As I say, we're used to the game. So for those who don't know, this episode of Last of Us is based off of the DLC that came out for the first Last of Us game, which is set before the main storyline, and it's about the origins of Ellie's bite and things like that. It was a very good representation. I thought that they hit all the major key points. They hit them well. And as always with this show, they do it so well in terms of being not beat for beat for the game, but just referencing all the same points. And I thought they did it very well. I thought it was a good paced episode again. recreation of the shopping mall that they go into, things like that. I think it was really, really great, and the bond between the two of them was fantastic, and even sort of outside of that, because obviously that was the main part of the episode, but the bit to start with, and of course we'll go into all of the beats of this, but even the starting bit with Joel and Ellie, I thought was very well played, and just the very little that we see Joel in this episode was actually still very powerful in terms of what happens between the two of them. Again, we'll come on to that in a minute, but yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Good episode.
I agree. Again, I think this is one of the better ones, and it goes to show, like, stop just randomly changing shit and adding shit for no reason, because it does nothing. Like, change stuff, fine. So I didn't mean change, but adding stuff for no particular reason, because I think the last two episodes. Hey, Tom. The last
you
two
missed
episodes.
The hype train earlier, Tom.
Yeah, I know. We needed you to give us money. But I think the last couple of episodes have been two of the best, and that's because they stuck most faithfully to the games. Like, they changed things, but story-wise, they stuck to it. They didn't add all this unnecessary bloat and guff that we don't need to care about. I think they're going to ruin it again in a couple of days' time, but because I think they're going to spend too much time giving us backstory on a particular character. I know I've vocalized those concerns before, but
they're starting with a D.
Yes, I think
okay.
they're going to spend too much time trying to humanize and whatever him, but which completely defeats the point. My other little thing my only little thing I found a bit weird about this episode is I don't understand why Joel needed to be conscious. I don't think it added anything. In fact, I think it would have been more powerful, the situation, and I think it is more powerful in the game because of the situation Ellie's in, where Joel's completely, like, just gone. Like, he is completely unresponsive. He's completely unconscious. He doesn't wake up. They imply that he doesn't wake up for weeks. Like for a really long time, which then puts more pressure and precedence on the next episode. I'm a ninja.
Blimey.
Just wanted to show the fact that I didn't mean to murder it, but I kind of got a bit happy there, bit overzealous. But I kind of feel it adds more salience and meaning and everything to the upcoming episode, because he's completely out of it, and there is no safety net. Whereas in this, he's talking to her and trying to get her to leave, and I was just like, well, that's pointless because we know she's not going to. I just found it a bit weird. That'll upset any vegan viewers.
I think Jack's existence probably upsets a vegan viewer.
I've been eating wine gums made out of gelatin. Imagine being so vegan you can't have wine gums. Anyway.
For me, I do understand. What might possibly happen is that he might become unconscious just through lack of blood and stuff. But what I really liked about it was the kind of pushing away, because he wants her to be safe. He wants her to kind of save herself. And so the actual act of him physically pushing her away, I thought was really powerful and actually really interesting. So yeah, for me, that didn't bother me at all, and actually I felt it was a good change.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, and as you say, yeah, he could end up just like passing out.
Doom had some McNuggies. Is that actually what they're called over there? Because if chicken McNuggets are called McNuggies, I want that. That's great.
At least it isn't McHusband. We'll move on.
I think you're right. It's not any of those syllables that you just said.
Chris is talking French now, so that's another reason we have to ban him.
Oh God, Jackson. Jackson, what? No, you're in.
Yes,
No,
I'm here.
Annoyingly, I literally read the word Jack from his little bit, so I was just like, "Man, hey, Chris."
It's only kind of French.
True. Yeah, we did get a hype train without you, Chris. So
Good times. Good times. It was very
Sorry,
exciting. It was very exciting. We probably made about 58p. It was great.
But you did time it well for coming in and giving us a reading the things for. Okay, give us at least a little reading the things for your.
He has given me a reading the things.
Oh, he has. Oh, okay, that's fine then. Piss off. Love you.
That was good.
Yes. So I did think that first bit was actually quite good. IMO. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. I think most of this episode was absolutely fine. Obviously, they added a little bit, which I thought was, again...
Bonjour!
Being invaded by France. More specifically, Disneyland France.
Looks like you're having a good time on the little horsey thing. What? Cabaret? No.
Carousel. You're having a really good time on the cabaret.
Liza Minnelli was there. It was fabulous.
Mickey says hi. Hi, Mickey. Hello.
So where do you want to start with this then? Spoilers?
Yeah, we're at spoilers now. It's fine. Yeah. So again, they added a little bit where I was just like, well, okay, not whatever. But it was like 30 seconds to a couple of minutes this time, so it's fine. That bit in where she was doing the training and the bully and being sent to the principal's office, that all stereotypical drama.
Sorry, I've just seen Team's message, which is, I'll be honest right now, I have no idea what the topic of the stream is. That doesn't show anything.
It does?
Yeah, but only, Last of Us. This week's episode of The Last of Us. The 7th episode of Last of Us.
Hobo.
It's those homeless people that Charlie's been licking to get COVID.
Different Charlie, we should probably preface.
Oh yeah, not our Charlie, as in Rabbit Hole Charlie. Well, kind of. But yeah, work Charlie. Right. So, shall we go? With the punching the other girl. It sets a bit more about her character before she was the Ellie we know. And obviously that was an addition that isn't in the DLC. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. None of it was needed. But again, it was only a minute or so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, we're very much seeing it from a side of we know what we've been told previously. I'm interested in what Hannah has to say in terms of what she felt about how that, as a complete newbie to the storyline, how that was for her as well. But yeah, Tomb, yes, we did Ant-Man, and now we've moved on to the second show. We're doing 3 this evening. We've got Ant-Man, then this, and then a bit of a press start as well. But I thought Riley was played really, really well. Yep. I don't know the actress's name. Forgive me, but she was very good. Hannah, what kind of be interested in your kind of opinion of this, considering it's giving you a bit more life to Ellie's story. So let us know what you think as well. Toom, are you up to date on Last of Us? Storm Reed, that's her name.
Storm is a stupid first name. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I know. You are an X-Man. What? No, hang on.
What?
I did watch, as always, there's a million TikToks that then come up about the comparisons against the games, and they were all pretty spot on. There is one thing that I'll talk about when we get to the arcade section of the differences between the game and the show, which I thought was a little bit different, but yeah. Hannah says, "I thought she could have been Zendaya's little sister. Then I looked into it, and she actually plays Zendaya's little sister in Euphoria. So I was spot on. Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure a couple of episodes ago, when they found the Mortal Kombat 2 machine,
Yeah,
that she said she never played it.
don't. No, I think. No, I think wasn't it entirely the opposite. It was that she was saying that she had this friend who she played it with, that she turned into and literally described the Mylena character of taking her mask off, eating the bones of the other person.
She described it because that's how what happens in the games as well. Is that she just describes a game that she's never played before, because of Riley.
Yeah, but I thought.
I just remembered it as she said that I'm probably wrong, but I just remembered it probably because I remember the games and it's just overlapping the show. I thought she said she had never played Mortal Kombat before, but Riley had, is what I thought she said. But I'm probably wrong. I imagine I'm wrong.
Possible. Hannah had the same idea as me, and that's that she says, my one comment is that the buildings they leapt between seemed insanely close together. Yeah. I was kind of thinking that if you were in those little alleyways in between, actually at ground level, you'd be like that.
Maybe there are little places like that where they're not really meant to be alleyways, they're just gaps.
But what would the purpose of the gap be?
Just different buildings, aren't they? I don't fucking know. I didn't design it. Just saying maybe there are places like that. I don't fucking know.
Other than that, Hannah said, I thought it was really good. It was nice to see her into her life. Yeah. What bits do you want to go through on this?
Again, I don't really know what there is because it's all just one big scene essentially. Like there isn't really anything that. Obviously, they're just going through the mall, and you can talk about all the different things that they do in the mall. It's all straight from the game. Obviously, the carousel.
Yeah.
The drinking is something you can do you can get in the game. You can completely miss it. So it's a nice touch that it did that. You can find the bottle of whiskey, and you can do that. You don't find it off a man who falls through the floor. But you just find it in a tent in the mall.
I like that they had a nod to one section that could have been in the show. So in the game, one of the things that you do with Riley is that you have a water gun fight. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of teaching you certain mechanics and bits and pieces with trying to sort of understand where things are around you by kind of listening. Is that not right?
It's not really teaching you because you're playing it after you've played the entire game.
True, yeah. But it kind of incorporates it. But basically, when Ellie's kind of saying, "Well, what have we got next?" And she says, "Don't tell me you got a water gun." And I just really like that little kind of nod to it of, "Yeah, we're not going to do that, but for those people who know, we got you."
Shame they didn't do the brick throwing. That would have been quite cool. But
yeah.
But again, it's all that little mini gameplay stuff. You can't really do much to make that interesting TV. They got all the important bits.
They had exactly the right masks.
Masks, yeah, the identical masks that you get in the Halloween shop. They obviously had the photo thing, the photo booth.
Yeah.
In the game, they can't print them. The printer doesn't work. And it says upload to Facebook. And they're like, what's a Facebook? Which is the world I want to live in, where we don't know what Facebook is anymore.
We can
but,
deny its existence, it's fine.
Huh?
We can deny its existence, it's fine.
Yes, that'd be nice if everyone just turned around and started denying it. But
I'm a Facebook denier.
All those little bits and bobs, Halloween masks and the Halloween store, the carousel, the photo booth, the drinking and the game.
I did like the Victoria's Secrets bit.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
That's been incorporated from a conversation that she has with Joel. While you're mooting about, you can kind of see like a poster with models and stuff on it, and they're just like, how do people end up looking like that? So people just don't eat. I thought people had food in your time, and that's what it was.
Yes.
I thought people had too many food in your time, and Joel was like, they did. Some people just chose not to eat it.
Yeah. That's going into one of the LZs, isn't it?
Yeah, when you just post it. Yeah, and that's kind of where that comes from. It just looks really uncomfortable. Yes, it does.
But again, very well acted in terms of the fact that, it's kind of like Ellie showing kind of almost she doesn't think I could be that kind of person, or that she would find me that attractive. Because the whole sort of starting to do the hair in the reflection of the shop and things like that. And I did love the fact that it was put across that obviously some stores got absolutely looted within an inch of their lives, kind of thing, and then some stores like Victoria's Secrets, nobody needs that kind of thing in the apocalypse.
How dare you? That is my zombie fighting attire. Corset and a thong, and I'll be invincible.
That's the second image you've given me today that I want to throw up on.
How dare you? I'd make a fantastic Rocky Horror.
Can you remember what the other one was, though?
No.
Bagless testicles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nah.
There was one other thing that I had, much like Hannah's sort of comment about the fact that the gap between the buildings was very small, and that is that obviously they talk about the fact that the power and the lighting and everything, and that no one can see it because it's blocked off and everything. However, that picture behind you shows a glass roof.
Yeah, I think it was saying it was in a divot, is what they were saying, wasn't it?
I don't remember them saying that, but yeah, it's a glass roof. If there's that much light, no matter what divot it is, it's going to be going up to the sky.
Well, yes, but it's not a spotlight, is it? It's not going to be lighting up the actual sky. Like, they're not directed lights. You'll be able to see it and there'll be a hum, but it's not going to be, if they're far away and it's low down, it's not going to be blasted into the sky. That's not how lights work.
Light pollution coming off that place would be immense.
Yeah, but it's below, kind of in an alcove and far away. It wouldn't be necessarily that
far away. It's in the town. It's in the city.
You're in the city. Yeah, but they don't have... They're outside the LZ at that point, aren't they?
It's in the middle of where they are. Because they say that it's been blocked off. Obviously the Fedra supposedly have said, yeah, this area is blocked off. We've trapped all of the infected in there, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, therefore it is within the LZ. So anyway... That's just one of those things that
LZ,
I kind of thought.
QZ,
sorry, landing zone.
Yeah, I said LZ first, so it was me that caused the kerfuffle.
No, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so it was just one of those things that I thought at the time, and then I've seen multiple kind of people on TikTok and so forth say light window. Anyway.
Yeah, that's another thing that they changed though, because it's not in the QZ in the game. It's outside, like, and it is properly like low down in the game. So I kind of feel like that's what they're trying to imply. But who's ever said QZ?
It's like saying Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, no, it's Dragon Ball Z. Like, that's just the name of the fucking show, and a QZ is a QZ. I do say Z, obviously, but no, I'm not saying QZ because that sounds fucking dumb.
As opposed to most of the other stuff we say.
Everything I say is perfect.
Uh-huh. Much like LZ.
Yeah, that was correct. It was just in the wrong place.
So I you said
Your
so
face is dumb.
The arcade. I
Mhm.
love that. Literally, the entire ideal of things like the name was exactly the same. The hues, everything worked well. I really like the fact that they got all the licensing for actual computer games. So, like Daytona was the driving game that they had. Obviously, Mortal Kombat. Just loads of different ones that kind of I remember playing as a kid many years ago. And now you two. But yeah, the thing that's different in the game as opposed to the show is that from my memory, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not powered up, is it?
The games don't work, no.
Yeah, the games don't work, so there's no power going to these games. So what Riley does is she gets Ellie to close her eyes and basically explains the whole gaming section. So it's you see a close up of Ellie's face with a black background, and she's closing her eyes, imagining what's going on, and Riley just talking through it, and you sort of start seeing all of these flashes of light and like a health bar coming up, and like the finish her kind of or finish him kind of thing, and it's just beautifully done, and I think it's just an absolute just masterpiece. Obviously, in this show area, they had all of it all working, and I think that still works really well, and actually kind of gives them something to work together with and play together. And I think that sort of shows a bit more bond from that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like the way they did it in the game. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think it's all great. It's all great. Obviously, another thing they added for the show is they didn't need the fact that Riley was storing pipe bombs. That's a bit weird. Yeah. That's a bit odd, but fair enough.
Yeah, obviously they wanted to have that kind of that dynamic where Ellie just was all of a sudden, I can't believe you're doing this kind of thing, and storming off. Because she doesn't storm off in the game. There's never a sort of a moment where they're at each other for that reason, is there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is there?
Not for the pipe bombs, but it's just because she's leaving. Yeah, it's just because Riley's leaving.
Okay. So
Ellie leaves. Yeah. And I can't remember what it was that brings her back, but yeah, I can't remember. Can't remember exactly.
The other thing that I've completely made up in my head, I think, is that I thought in the game, and therefore I was expecting it in the show, was that we see the morning after and Ellie waking up. Am I completely making that up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I thought that existed from.
Yeah, we don't see anything really after the bite. You have the let's be all poetic and shit and lose our minds together.
Yeah.
And then that's about pretty much where it ends. It kind of just implies everything what happens after that. And it implies that the Fireflies showed up.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Because yeah,
That's
it's just something that in my head, I don't know why, but it was kind of that Ellie woke up, Riley was dead, um, and that was it. But yeah, obviously it doesn't show that. It just cuts back to current timeline of her getting back to Joel.
yeah. Hannah says what did happen after that in the game, and I presume what they're implying in the show as well is this is where the Fireflies found Ellie, and then it's been about 2 weeks, and that's where the show begins. It's about 2 weeks after this. It implies that it implies that Ellie didn't have to kill Riley. Again, they don't really say, but it's just what I've taken from the implications that Ellie didn't have to kill Riley. The Fireflies found them, and that's when they took them because obviously Ellie didn't turn, so they took Ellie. And then The Last of Us happens because obviously this is a DLC, so this isn't part of the main game. You can play the whole main game and none of this happens, and then there's a DLC that's about 2 hours long, probably 2 and a bit hours. Where you kind of where you play it where it's 50% what we saw in this, and then there's a lot more of what Ellie's doing while Joel is unconscious. But I imagine they're going to do more of that next week, or this week, I should say. And also, a lot of that was just fighting. So again, you can't really do a lot.
Yeah, because there's a whole protecting Joel scene.
Yeah, you're fighting a lot of people and.
Yeah.
I do think, like, for a zombie show, there are fucking no zombies. Which I don't think is necessarily a problem. Obviously, they always just seem to reduce it. They did that one big horde, obviously, a couple of episodes ago, but in the game, in the DLC, and in Left Behind, this is a bunch of them.
Yeah. So rather than
take
one
out
that
most of them,
they
actually take out most of them, and I get why they didn't do that, but also like they could have had a couple because then it would at least show Ellie's competence when it comes to taking care of herself. Like, she's not great at it, but she's not completely useless, and I feel like the fact that they both lost to one.
What I will say as well is that the difference from the show to the game, the infected that bites Ellie and Riley. Obviously, Ellie dispatches by knife to the side of the head. I watched a comparison, or just sort of something to remind me about the episode because it's been a few days now. So I watched a little thing from IGN, and it was actually a comparison one. And I thought, oh well, that's quite useful anyway. But what I'd completely blocked from my head is that the one that's biting Riley. The infected that's biting Riley in the game, it's not a case that Ellie just goes and stabs it in the side of the head to get it off her. She literally pulls it back, knife to throat, and literally just tears it across the throat of the infected, like so viciously. So yeah, that was quite a difference.
Hannah says, you're normally saying it's not about the infection. Now you're saying there are no zombies, no pleasing you. It's like they're not mutually exclusive. Like, it doesn't have to be about them for them to be there. Like, it's the zombies. It's a story in a zombie apocalypse or an infected apocalypse. There obviously should be some. Obviously, in the game, you're getting a lot more of them actually having to deal with them. In this show, it kind of shows that they're not really a threat in any way, is the impression they're giving. Because they're never there. They're never around. But they're always fucking around. They're always around. They're not fucking around. It's out there.
Really fucking around.
Yeah. So, like, not mutually
but yeah, I mean,
exclusive,
if you compare like the second episode when they're explaining how the infected are like a hive mind and all connected through the city, and you see all of those infected just in the street, and then we cut to a mall which just has one, and that's kind of it. And yeah, it's just like, well, surely there would be a lot more.
Yeah, the hive mind nonsense hasn't played into shit. Like,
no, that kind of seems to have just gone.
Yeah, they did that to cover up a thing where Fedra wouldn't actually be there, so they needed another group to show up and cause a problem. So they needed this hive mind shit, and then it's never really come again. Other than the obviously the big horde with the bloater, but that didn't necessarily have to be a hive mind. That could have just been there were lots, because they were leading into the fact that they buried them all.
Was that there was lots.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that didn't need to be like a hive mind in story wise. That could easily be explained away without the hive mind saying. What they did say was that they locked them all in the same place. They put them all in the tunnels. So when they emerged, they all fucking emerged. All of the ones that they've ever put down there have just come out at once. So they could have easily done that. But hey, they've done the hive mind thing. And there's not really a lot of... Because the only opportunities I can think of, next episode isn't really about... Well, none of them are, but I mean, obviously the threat of next episode is... As Hannah says, the real danger to all of us is man. So far, they haven't really done that. They had one group of people that were causing a problem. But
what we will see is whether they do a specific scene, and that is a scene that there's a very cute rabbit.
Maybe. I doubt it, but it would be funny. It would be funny. I think they should.
I think they have to.
I think they should, yeah. But that is like they've kind of... They could easily still do it, absolutely, but obviously that scene is to... There's a lot that they do in that scene.
Showing Winter.
Yeah, showing Winter, and obviously you're meant to think... At that point in the game, you're meant to think that injury, Joel is dead. Is what you're meant to think at that point in the game.
Yeah.
But they kind of immediately showed that he wasn't, which is fine. It's fine. Yeah. There's no reason to necessarily linger on that, because it's obvious that he's not going. He's not. Like, when you're playing the game, like, that's not obvious at all. But in the show and everything, that is obvious that he's not, obviously. So they don't need to play this silly buggers about it. But no, I think this was another really good episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't fuck around too much with backstories and shit like that. We're gonna get OG Joel next episode as well. So I wonder when we get OG Ellie. I don't know when she's in it.
See, I've been trying to avoid all of the next week on, and also the trailers. But there was just one photo. Say again?
They're the same thing. The trailers are the next time on.
Oh yeah, but no, as in like the trailer before the season.
I see. Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen anything of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson being in it. I knew that they were in it, but I didn't know what or how. I've got a strong feeling that I might know now just through one photo that I've seen who Ashley Johnson is. But obviously we won't talk about it.
No, we won't. I know Ashley Johnson is, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's just through one bloody photo on Facebook. See, ban Facebook.
No, I mean, they've talked about it publicly as well as to who they are.
Again, but I've tried to avoid that stuff.
No, so. I know. I'm just saying, it's not like... It's hard to declare it a spoiler when it's very much out there in the open. Like,
yeah. No, I'm not declaring it a spoiler. It would just spoil something for me.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to confirm or say anything.
Yeah.
But I know next episode we get Troy Baker, obviously OG Joel, and at some point, I would assume probably the finale. I don't know where else it would fit.
I think it'll be the finale.
Well, to be fair, knowing what I know, it doesn't fit at all regardless.
No.
But I think they'll be able to make it fit with how much time they would, in theory, have to cover the little bit of game that they would have left after next bit of episodes. So they would have time to fit it in. So I assume it's the finale. But yeah, I thought this was another good episode. One of the better ones. I think top 3. I think episode 3, 6, and 7 have been the best ones so far.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm gonna once. So after this episode, after episode 8, between 8 and 9, I'm gonna watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
See how I feel when it's all back to back and close up. Because
I might skip episode 3 just on the basis I don't think I can cry that much again.
The show hasn't made me cry at all. Which is outrageous considering how much the games made me cry.
I thought you cried in Bill's episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Episode 3.
Yeah. All I heard was the crying.
See, you do have a heart and soul.
I'm a fucking softie, just because I think all humans are terrible, but doesn't mean I'm not a softie.
It was the strawberries that did it for you, wasn't it?
I like strawberries.
Careful of the strawberries.
Do you know what I learnt today? I need to fact check before I say, because it's outrageous, and I don't want to sound like a fool.
Okay. Shall I do the drum roll? I'm intrigued. I have no idea what he's learnt today. It didn't seem like much.
Cashews aren't nuts.
What? What?
They're not nuts. They are closer related to strawberries than they are to, because a cashew nut is a seed that grows inside the cashew fruit. It's not a nut. And that fruit is known as an accessory fruit, which is more closely related to strawberries than than anything else. So a cashew nut is closer to being a strawberry than it is to being a nut. Peanuts aren't nuts either.
It's called a nut.
Yeah, but peanuts aren't nuts either. Yes, it is a seed. A cashew nut is a seed. Yeah, but the actual cashew is a
cashew
is a fruit. Yeah, but a peanut is a legume. And almonds aren't nuts either. Just throw that out there.
What are they?
Don't know.
Aliens.
Everything is wrong, and there's no such thing as a fish.
By the way, I've now found a picture of computer wore tennis shoes with Kirk Cameron. And it's very different from Kurt Russell.
Yes. But those with a nut allergy can't have peanut. But some people are also only specifically allergic to peanuts as well, aren't they? As opposed to nuts in general.
So what about people that have a nut allergy and cashews?
They usually can. They probably can eat cashews, I'd imagine.
I don't think we should try.
By the way, if you have a nut allergy, I do not advise risking that.
Jack is not a medical professional. Hannah said almonds and pistachios are drupes. I knew something was a drupe.
Yeah, peanuts are legumes, which are edible seeds enclosed in pods and are in the same family as beans, lentils, and peas.
So what is a nut? No, not on stream. Not on stream.
What is a nut? I've turned safe search on. It is a small flat piece of metal. Fuck's sake. What?
Matt says bananas are berries.
Yeah, I know bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. I know that.
Nuts are a lie.
A nut is a fruit consisting of a hard or tough nutshell protecting a kernel, which is usually edible. In general usage and in a culinary sense, a wide variety of dry seeds are called nuts. But in a botanical context, nut implies that the shell does not open to release the seed.
So they're classed as nuts. So even though they're a seed, which we've discussed, it's actually a nut in terms of what it's specifically stated as.
Yeah, I think so. Apparently, an edible nut and a botanical nut are slightly different things. So,
Just
like
to
walnut,
say, for non-regular
walnuts and stuff
viewers of
seem
our
to
show,
be culinary nuts, but you can open that shell so that it wouldn't be a botanical nut. That's more like an acorn or a conker. Aren't they a berry? Strawberries have. I don't think strawberries are. Hang on, we're having discussions.
So basically, for anybody who is not a regular viewer of our shows, we are called Rabbit Hole Media, and the reason we're called Rabbit Hole Media is because we just go off on random fucking tangents like this.
The popular strawberry is not a berry at all, but botanists call the strawberry a false fruit, a pseudocarp. A strawberry is actually a multiple fruit which consists
Definitely
of
not
many
a carp,
tiny
mate.
individual fruits embedded in a fleshy receptacle.
Now that sounds like a sentence.
This is my favourite thing. Why are bananas berries but strawberries aren't? So apparently on the strawberry, every little one of those divot and the things in there, they're not seeds, they're other fruits. So it's the equivalent of just picking up the apple tree and fucking eating it. No strawberries. Yeah. I said accessory fruits, just like cashews, though. Yeah.
I'm a smarty pants.
Things have been classified to help us know where there are two and how to eat them rather than scientifically classified. Yeah, I think things are classified differently between food and science. It's just called strawberry. And people just name shit and then they, based on whatever, people discover strawberries and they probably thought they look like a berry. They look like a berry, so I'm going to call them strawberry. And
Have you seen what Hannah
turns out? Yes, I have. And that's a rabbit hole I don't think we have time for. And then they figure things out later. In the same way that I wasn't just naming a podcast then, I did mean it. There is technically no such thing as a fish.
Yes. Wild strawberries look more like berries than supermarket ones. Yeah, but also wild strawberries are that small. Katie's grown some in the garden, and they are that small. Delicious, powerful little flavour things.
Strawberries are banging. I like me a strawberry.
That's what you mean, maybe.
I like me a berry. I like me a berry.
I like a banana as well.
And strawberries.
I don't like oranges.
No, I don't like oranges. I like orange
Satsumas
flavour.
or tangerines or whatever the fucking difference is.
I like orange flavour, but I just don't like orange.
I like orange juice.
Yep.
But I don't like oranges. I'll eat one, but I don't really like it. What's the other fruit I don't really like?
I hate all the pith.
Yeah, exactly. It's we all know that tomatoes are a fruit.
Yep.
So there's that.
It's got seeds on the inside.
Coconut isn't a nut either.
No.
Some strawberries have gone rogue from next door and started growing in my flower bed, but the dogs get to them before I can. This is fair. Anyway, because we've still yet got another fucking show to do and it's nearly 10 o'clock.
It's 22.
Yeah, this one we've not got that much to talk about. We'll power through.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
And
Anyway,
stop it with your droops.
Exactly. Put your droops away. We will once again be gone for about a minute. Thank you very much for joining. And in a minute, we will see you again. Thank you and goodbye.